Hang on. What? It's not very comfy. Okay, hi. Okay. Oh, okay. Hello, Yoshi. Hello, Chinny. Hi. Hi. Let me just double check to see. Yes, okay. My mic is working good. Hello, Hazen. Hi. I feel like this mic is kinda on its last leg. Which is kinda... Yes. Hello, Arlie. Hi, welcome. It is me, your comfy dream courier. Hello, am I? Hi. Although at this point, is Higurashi really a dream or is it more of a nightmare? At this point, I feel like Higurashi is more of a nightmare, isn't it? A bit of both, yeah. A fever dream? Honestly, yeah, that sounds about right. Anyway, Shion is crashing out. Some of it's reasonable, some of it's not, but we'll see. Alright. Let's just jump right into it. Also, I figured out you can use the backgrounds for like the different type of backgrounds, which I prefer. Because hello, Cody. Hi. Welcome. Yeah, so if the backgrounds look different, it's because I changed it to the different type, to the, not the original ones. The, the ones for the Steam version, because I like those ones better. I feel like it makes it look more unsettling. Yes, I did. So, hello. Alright. Yeah, I prefer the backgrounds for the Steam version better because it gives it more of like an unsettling feel. I like the juxtaposition with these like cutely drawn characters and these like weird backgrounds. Yeah. Really adds to the whole like fever dream situation type deal we're going for, huh? I'm doing great, Arlie. Thank you for asking. What did you just say? Hang on. Oh yeah. So like my my headphones broke the other day. If you saw it on the Discord. So yeah. I'm using like a different pair of headphones, but it doesn't have like the... It's not the same. Yeah, it was bad. It was pretty bad. I don't even know what happened. I think I like twisted it kind of weird when I was taking it off, and then I heard a crack, and I was like, oh shit. Oh, you had your wisdom teeth removed. Oh, I hope you feel better soon, Arlie. I know that that's like really painful. She got all the rest you need with that. Anyway, let me know if the game must have been because of your big brain. Yeah, obviously my brain is just too big. Yeah, also let me know if like anything in the game is too loud. Yeah. This is information from a reliable source. It appears that they found the murderer of Satoshi-kun's aunt. It had been a few weeks since the murder. Satoshi-kun still hadn't been found. I had no new information on his whereabouts. Kasai's report came as a result, completely out of the blue. Does that mean the police arrested the culprit? It seems that he confessed during his interrogation regarding another case. That sounded strange. If it was Satoshi-kun they arrested, he wouldn't have worded it that way. It sounded as though Satoshi-kun wasn't the culprit. Kasai. Who's the culprit? I believe it was like a drug addict. But it was Satoshi who killed his aunt, though. Like, that's a given. It was Satoshi. So it wasn't Satoshi-kun? I swallowed those final words. I was convinced that it was Satoshi-kun. A big old brain. Yeah, exactly. Super big dragon bunny brain. Yeah, I mean, this will be an excuse to get like in-ear headphones or earphones. I like those better anyway. You know, it doesn't mess up your hair. The police in Oishi must have thought the same way. The reason Oishi approached me is because he was convinced that Satoshi-kun did it. Don't worry. It doesn't seem like it's Satoshi-kun. I heard that it was a lunatic who was aiming to continue the series of mysterious deaths. What? A lunatic? What do you mean? Yes, I shrugged. I don't know. It explains why Ko's so sleepy all the time, holding such a massive brain. Must be exhausting. Exactly. Exactly, that's why. Obviously. Since the investigation is classified as a confidential case, information I can get is limited. Confidential? Why? To prevent the village from developing a bad reputation. You don't see articles about kidnapping while the police are negotiating with the culprit, do you? It's similar to that. Come to think of it, I hadn't seen anything about the aunt's murder on TV or in the newspaper. These strange deaths have happened 4 years in a row now, on the day of Watanakashi. There are those who try to make light of it. And now this lunatic who confessed to the aunt's murder said he did it in imitation of the series of mysterious deaths. Interesting. As I didn't know anything else, so instead of probing him further, I reviewed the information myself. Hello, cowboy. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? How's your day? I was really shocked to learn all this. I was convinced that Satoshi-kun killed her. I thought that was the reason he had to disappear. But it was actually some lunatic who killed her, and he had no relation to the aunt whatsoever. There's no way Satoshi didn't kill his aunt, though. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. So Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with the murder? If so, why did he disappear? I couldn't accept that this lunatic had killed the aunt. And what's really strange is the phrase Kasai used. 4 years in a row now. After all, I had been thinking that this murder had happened because Satoshi-kun had been in a dire situation. It had nothing to do with the series of mysterious deaths. I felt as though Satoshi-kun's case had become somebody else's. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is also known as the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. Satoshi-kun's case had become one of those mysterious deaths. It's been a day checking out for the night, but I hope you have a good stream. I'll be lurking in chat. I hope you have a nice night and that you can relax. Thanks for lurking. In other words, Satoshi's case has become a part of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I didn't like the way that sounded, because it was as though the curse had swallowed Satoshi-kun. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to confirm the tip that Satoshi-kun took a trip to Tokyo. We don't even know whether or not he's in this prefecture, to be honest. Oishi broke the seal on a new can of instant coffee. I thought you knew his whereabouts already, since you seemed very convinced he was the culprit. You got me. Oishi chuckled and poured a cup of coffee, which looked far too hot. You have some good sources. Huh? It's a highly classified case, but you already have this information. I wonder who leaked it. Looks like we need to review our security precautions. Oishi smirked. Seemed he knew why I was here today. I'm one of the Sonosakis after all. And my ears are open. I smirked back at him. It's all about bluffing. Anyway, since we're friends now, why don't we have a chat? Aww, I am not your friend. Let me ask you first. Who's this real culprit? I heard that he was a lunatic, but what does that mean? I don't know how to answer that question. I want to know the answer myself. Really, I was convinced Satoshi-kun was the real culprit. It was rather surprising for me too. Oishi threw himself on the sofa and crossed his hands behind his head. He looked up at the ceiling and smiled wryly. I suddenly received a call from the prefectural police the other day. They said that one of the guys in detention confessed to the murder of the housewife. Who is it? He's a real piece of work who fell into a drug habit. He's been in and out of prison for drug abuse. His statement says that he was interested in the series of mysterious deaths and wanted to imitate them. Are you sure he's the real culprit? I didn't interrogate him myself, but the prefectural police tells me that he has information that only the real culprit would know. He seems to have thrown the murder weapon into the Oji River. We're searching for it right now. If it's found, his statement will be solid. Even if the weapon wasn't found, would the case be closed? Probably. You're drawing? I'm happy I can be good background noise for people to draw. Like, I don't know, clean your room or something. Probably. His statement clearly outlines the state of the crime scene in the body. This information, like I said, covers details that only the actual murderer would know. You don't seem convinced. Oishi, still looking up at the ceiling, look quiet. As a matter of fact, the moron was already dead by the time I got their call. Aww. Dead? You know those spoons that were forked at the tip? Oh, a spork? Spoon fork? Yeah. They use those at the detention facility. I was told that he swallowed one and choked on it. On purpose? They couldn't tell if it was suicide or if it was caused by some mental disorder. I imagine somebody swallowing that spoon and gagged. So, the investigation hadn't been done that thoroughly. But although I'm not convinced, my superiors are. I think with that, the case will be closed. Oishi turned his eyes from the ceiling to me. He looked serious. This is just what I personally feel, okay? So please keep it between the two of us. I believe that this moron was some kind of mistake. It might either be a big misunderstanding caused by a chain of coincidences, or, you know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I still believe that the real culprit is Satoshi Hojo-kun. You sound confident. Unfortunately, we couldn't do anything to prove that he was at the crime scene. We obtained a warrant to search his house after he disappeared. But we still found nothing. But you still believe he did? Yes. I wonder how you can be so sure, even though you don't have any evidence. It's incredible. Is that supposed to be like the hunch of an experienced detective? Yep. It's the hunch of a guy who's been in this business for several decades. Suppose if in a job like this, eventually your intuition gets kind of sharp, huh? Oishi smiled in satisfaction, but I didn't feel relieved. Where did Satoshi-kun go? His disappearance convinced me that he was the culprit. If he wasn't the culprit, there'd be no real reason for him to disappear. What if the murderer was actually done by that copycat and Satoshi-kun's disappearance has nothing to do with it? In other words, what if Satoshi-kun disappeared because the Sonozaki family didn't like my relationship with him? And he has nothing to do with the murder. Was Satoshi-kun a culprit or a victim? The reason for his disappearance had become unclear. I don't think they'd bother to make one person disappear just because of an undesirable relationship. I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. They had to rip her fingernails off. What do you hear from inside the Sonozaki family? Do you know anything? I wouldn't be here if I did. You're right. Oishi laughed out loud while scratching his head. After he stopped laughing, he leaned over. Alright, how about this? Why don't we make a deal? A gentleman's deal. A deal? On what? On information about Satoshi-kun's disappearance. If you find any information like that, you tell me. And I'll also provide you with information if I find any. Do we have a deal? That sounds too convenient for you. Oishi chuckled. Shion-san, I think if we leave things as they are, they'll conclude that the moron committed the murder. If that happens, Satoshi-kun's disappearance will be treated as just another runaway minor. They won't search for him as actively as before. But I'll continue searching for him. Only I will do it. I believe you're intending to do the same. Our motives are different now. I just want to know if he's safe. But you'd like to arrest him, wouldn't you? No. That's weird. I heard the sound go off. Weird. Mayhaps someone subscribes to the YouTube channel. Not sure. If the murder case was considered solved, Satoshi-kun would be free. Regardless of his innocence. I doubt that. Oishi chuckled again, but a smile didn't reach his eyes. Well, let's be friends from now on. The enemy of your enemy is your friend, no? The new movie next week? What movie? I'm not opposed to the Sonozaki family, though. Oh yes, the Project Sekai movie. Kinda wanna see it too, actually. Oh really? I apologize then. This is the way of Kurado Oishi, huh? As Susan Kasai said, I don't want him as my enemy or my ally. I wouldn't want him as my enemy or my ally. Because both would be too risky. Well, your stream's relaxing? I'm glad you think so. Thanks for the head pat. Oh. Oh. There it is. Also, Got the fish. Oh, corn. Yeah. There we go. Fish. Always says there's a chatbot outage, but it always works fine. I probably shouldn't let my guard down in front of this big fat weasel. I slipped on the coffee to fill up the silence. Though I wasn't thirsty. Good night, Arlie. Thanks for hanging out. Sleep well. Hope your wisdom tooth heals up. Or I guess you got it removed. So I guess you know what I mean. I hope you feel better. Outside the window, I could see normal life taking its course. But Sagoshi-kun wasn't there. He should have been there, but he wasn't. I was scared that I might grow used to his absence someday. Where was he? I wonder how Satoshi-kun is doing. I hope he's alright. I know you think he might be dead. Don't patronize me. Do you know what people are calling his disappearance in Hinamizawa? Huh? They say that he was demoned away. To be demoned away means the same thing as being spirited away. It's part of the local dialect. He was kidnapped and taken to hell at the bottom of the Onigafuchi swamp. That's ridiculous. Anyways, the series of mysterious deaths has struck for the 4th time. It's too soon, but people are already talking about next year. Are you saying that the murder was the result of Orishiro-sama's curse? The victim was one of the Hojos after all. She was involved in the dam conflict, though indirectly. Really, it's not surprising that some people would take an interest in the incidents, because they always do happen on the day of the Watsunagashi. That's ridiculous too, Orishiro-sama's curse. Though I said that, I couldn't wipe away the fear from my mind. Why did Satoshi-kun disappear? Was it the Sonozaki family? Did he run away from the police? Did he really kill his aunt in the first place? Why did he even disappear? He's on his own. Orishiro-sama's curse has nothing to do with it. But... That's strange. Satoshi-kun and Orishiro-sama's curse. Somebody once mentioned those two together before. When did I hear that? Rena. Ah, that's right. That rainy day. It was Rena Ryugu who told me. Who told me that when we were taking shelter in that shack. Oh, I remembered the creepy stories you told me that time. Satoshi-kun wants to leave Hinamizawa and run far away. Even if only unconsciously. That's what Rena Ryugu said. Rena had definitely pointed out that Satoshi-kun wanted to leave Hinamizawa at that time. She also said, everything he's going through is a sign of Oyashiro-sama's curse. She said that, for sure. She had definitely mentioned Oyashiro-sama's curse. The series of mysterious deaths has struck 4 times. Was Satoshi-kun being controlled by the curse? Is that why he killed his aunt and was demoned away? No way. That can't be true. Satoshi-kun's smile faded away in my mind. Satoshi-kun disappeared. Not only that, the reasons for his disappearance also disappeared. It must have been done by human beings. I can't accept that he was demoned away. Notebook, page 43. I moved from one chair to another because the air conditioning was too cold. I moved with my notebook, my pen case with a bunch of keychains, and my cup of milk tea. I did it all in one go. I sat down in a new chair and opened my notebook again, scribbled my thought, and sank into silence. The series of mysterious deaths, dubbed the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. I've been viewing each incident as a separate case, even though it was followed by another one. I never looked at all the cases as part of one big scheme. However, I wrote down all the incidents on paper. After I wrote down all the incidents on paper, it became clear to me that all of them served the same agenda. I wrote down the victims. The first year, the construction site manager. The second year, Satoshi-kun's parents. The third year, the priest. The fourth year, Satoshi-kun's aunt. For the fourth year, one could consider Satoshi-kun himself to be the victim rather than his aunt. If I considered that each case arose from the grudge over the dam conflict, it's quite simple. In the first year, the construction manager was killed because he was a symbol of the dam construction himself. Of course, the real enemy was the Ministry of Construction, but it wasn't as clear a target. That manager, on the other hand, had been aggressively shouting back at the villagers, so he was a more appropriate enemy to attack. Is that fair, though? Poor guy was just doing his job. I feel like he was catching strays. Yeah, he did shout back at the villagers, but like they were shouting at him every day for hours. Can't blame him for snapping back a little bit, right? If Oyashiro-sama had really cursed someone, it would have been the officials from the ministry. It's apparent that the target was based on the villagers' preference. You know, that is also like a very interesting thing, you know. If Oyashiro-sama really is this malevolent god, then you would expect like the people who like started the dam project to begin with and like all of their families to be cursed. But they're fine. The second year. The accidental death of Satoshi-kun's parents. It's said that they fell from a cliff in the same park. In some park. But it's doubtful that this was really an accident. His parents were labeled as traitors to the village because they sided with the dam construction, even though they were also from Hinamizawa. The Ocho family was ostracized during the dam conflict in order to prevent other pro-dam activists from rising up. Ah! Hello! Hello, Raiders! Buffy, thank you. Thanks for the raid. How are you? What were you streaming? Hi! Hi, how are you? Welcome, Raiders. I am Koalamai. I'm a dream courier ASMR artist VTuber. Today we're reading Higurashi. You got GTA got arrested in Among Us outfit. I love that. That sounds so fun. I'll have to check out that VOD later. That genuinely sounds so funny. Yes, hi, hello. Oh, Dan Sheena, thanks for becoming a hack rabbit. Yeah, Kurt, if you need a raid and run, I get that. I hope you have a good rest of your night, Polfie. Yeah. And thanks again for sharing your community with me. I'll take good care of them. Where was I? That means the hojos were necessary. Have a nice rest of the stream. Thank you again. Have a great night. Bye bye. Take care. What was I doing? Oh, yes. That means the hojos were necessary during the conflict to play the role of the traitor. So when the conflict was over, they no longer served any purpose. Construction site manager was a symbol of the external enemy. The hojos were a symbol of the internal enemy. Those people fell victim to the curse, and it seems that the grudge over the dam conflict had ended. Yet, those incidents were followed by another one. The third year, the leader of one of the three families, the priest Furude, suddenly died of an illness with an unknown cause. His wife drowned herself on the same night. She seemed to have left a note that said she was sacrificing herself to pacify Orishio-sama's anger. Whether it was a fatal disease or suicide, their deaths looked suspicious. Mion admitted that the Sonosaki family didn't like the priest's attitude. They didn't like how the priest had been generous towards the pro-dam activists. The priest wasn't quite a traitor, but he was certainly uncooperative. Looking at these incidents, I realized that the curse was performed based on the degree of hostility. Enemy, traitor, and dissent. This means the curse was actually payment. It was punishment for the criminals of war. In the fourth year, I didn't understand this case at first, to be honest. At first, I believed this case was separate from the others, even though it occurred on the same day. I never thought there would be any relation to the other three. But when I wrote it down, I looked at it objectively. The victim was a relative of a traitor. After enemy, traitor, and dissent, relative of a traitor doesn't sound too odd. Oh, another raid. Thank you, Dark Green. Thanks for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. Yes, hi, hello. Thanks for becoming a pack rabbit. Hi. Welcome. I'm Kolomai. I'm a dream courier ASMR artist. Yeah. I do a lot of reading ASMR streams. Mostly of visual novels. I love me a good visual novel. Currently we're reading Higurashi. So yeah, I feel like and for games, currently we're playing through Danganronpa. We're almost finished that. We play that on Wednesdays. Yeah. Hello, hi. Welcome. Thank you so much for sharing your community with me. I'll take care of them. If you need to raid and run, take care of yourself, drink water, I understand. And if you want to hang out, you like comfy little vibes? uh, I'm your girl. Eat. It comes naturally as a fourth target. On the day the villagers worship Orishio-sama, their guardian deity, the criminals of the dam conflict have been punished by the curse. Just like how I was forced to pay at the Sonozaki house, the criminals were made to pay as well. After writing these out, I started thinking that the fourth incident might be in line with the serious mysterious deaths after all. That was so cute, thank you. This isn't like I show this to everyone all the time, but yeah, this is just a placeholder until I can get my full model. This is my actual design. Still working on like actually having this turned into a full model, but one day. Oh, you're so cute. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was. Yes, hi, hello. Oh. Troll seat kittens. Thanks for becoming a pack rabbit. Welcome. Yeah, it's super cute. I love it. The artist Sarah Wee, she did an amazing job. Yeah, she did such a good job. I love her. Whether it was Satoshi-kun or the dope head, it seemed they were forced to play the role of a murderer as part of the bigger scenario. Even if Satoshi-kun was the real culprit, even if he killed his aunt because of an ordinary grudge, the murder seems synchronized with the grand scheme of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, which is a payment plan for the war criminals. That murder was the result of his pain. But what if somebody planned that as part of a scenario? For instance, somebody might have suggested him to kill his aunt on that day. That night? That place? I had no doubts that Sakoshi-kun decided to kill her in order to protect Satoko. But did he really reach that conclusion on his own? Satoshi-kun was optimistic and somewhat detached as far as I know. Okay, there you go. Would he have really considered murdering his aunt, even if it was to protect his sister? Could it be possible for somebody to have chosen the aunt as the fourth year's murderer beforehand? And they used Satoshi-kun? And Satoshi-kun was eliminated because of his connection with them. Looking at it that way, the murder of the first year resembles this case. The main culprit behind that case hasn't been found yet, dead or alive. The other culprits testified that their fight had turned into a slaughter. But wouldn't it be possible that the main culprit had manipulated the situation? What if he'd been told to kill someone on that day, at that time, and at that place? I'm certain. The first murder resembles Satoshi-kun's case very much. Did that mean Satoshi-kun was being controlled by somebody else? Ueshio presented me with a hypothesis, and the Sonozaki family made Satoshi-kun disappear in order to end my relationship with the murderer. But when I read the notes I wrote down, his disappearance didn't seem too spontaneous. It seems like part of a bigger plan. Since I'd unexpectedly gotten involved in that plan, I had to be separated from him. Then Satoshi-kun was demoned away, as planned. At first, I also believed that the Sonosaki family made him disappear because they didn't like that he was in love with a member of... I was in love with a member of a family of traders. But something didn't add up. Something felt strange. I wasn't the reason for his disappearance after all. Even if I never met him in the first place. Satoshi-kun was supposed to kill his aunt in June 1982 and then disappear. At one point, I had been thinking of taking revenge on the hag. I believed that she'd separated us. But what if my relationship with Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with his disappearance? What would that mean? Who made Satoshi-kun disappear? I need to understand the series of mysterious deaths in order to solve this mystery. What did all these deaths mean? Who was behind them, and what purpose did they serve? I wanted to know the purpose, the motive, and who was responsible. Who took Satoshi-kun? I wanted to know if he was still alive. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is also called Oyashio-sama's curse. What is that curse? Specifically, what kind of god is Oyashio-sama? What blessings does he bring, and what punishments does he dole out? I wrote down my thoughts in the notebook. What's Oyashio-sama? What is he? I scribbled these things down. I was so absorbed by it. I didn't realize someone had been standing behind me, watching me the whole time. I couldn't stop myself from gasping when I realized that. Oh, it's her. I'm sorry. Today's the day? Today's what day? Oh, is it payday? Is it payday, Ghosty? Let's go. Let's go. I'm sorry, did I startle you? She has a bit of a deeper voice. Let me try to do that. Might be a little silly. Yeah. Yeah, you've had VIP for a while. You're one of the first people who... You're one of my first regulars. Of course you have VIP. It's the least I can do to show appreciation to coming to my streams. The intelligent-looking woman giggled. No, I was just a bit surprised. I never realized. Yeah? Oh yeah, you've been VIP for a while. Just have so much fun being here. I'm glad. That makes me really happy. I hope you're having fun. I try to do my best to be entertaining and give a fun stream for everyone. Sorry about that. She could have apologized a little better too, since she had been watching me from behind. But she just stared at my face instead. Are you Shion Sonosaki-san? You must know sis since you know my name, but I don't know who you are. Being twins is a pain sometimes. People you've never met before can tell exactly who you are. I'm sorry. The Sonosaki-san I know would never be seen in a library. I assumed that you were her twin sister. The woman giggled again. Oh, you were right. I'm Sion Sonozaki. Nice to meet you. May I ask your name? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have introduced myself first. She seemed to love her own hair because she kept running her fingers through it boastfully. I'm Mio Takano. You can call me Mio, Shion-chan. Nice to meet you, Takano-san. Her condescending attitude bugged me. I hate meeting people like that. I closed my notebook and got ready to leave the desk. Oh, are you upset? Thank you for your concern. I'd like to be alone. I like to be alone when thinking, so I'm moving to another spot. Excuse me. That's a shame. I thought we'd be good friends. Did you? I don't think so. I finally met someone with the same passion, a fellow researcher of Oyashio-sama's curse. I think it's quite unusual to meet someone like that. She saw my notes. My face reddened. These are just theories. It's all nonsense. Just childish scribbles. The series of mysterious deaths is also known as Oyashio-sama's curse. Though each death is an independent incident, all of them clearly share the same purpose. Each year, someone dies of the curse, and someone else is sacrificed and disappears. What? What are you saying all of a sudden? Someone dies and someone else what? I was taken aback by her weird spiel. But I realized right away that she had said something extraordinary. Didn't you notice the number of victims was always even? Haven't you realized that yet? The number of victims is always even? I was confused, but I tried to figure out what that meant. The dam construction site manager died in the first year. There was only one victim. In the second year, the victims were parents of Satoshi-kun, so it was 2 people. In the third year, it was the priest. And if her death was also planned, his wife, too, again. And this year, the 4th year, Satoshi-kun's aunt died and Satoshi-kun went missing. If Satoshi-kun's victim was planned, the number of victims was 2. It's true. Except for the first one. The victims always came even. Number 2. Wait. I had just concluded myself that the first case resembled the 4th one. The main culprit was still missing. He might have been demoned away, just like Satoshi-kun. Oh. See? Doesn't it make sense now? Takano-san sounded like a teacher who had showed me how to solve a difficult math problem. I wasn't quite convinced, but I couldn't deny what she said either. Did I give you enough hints? I really would have enjoyed a conversation with you, but I think you prefer being alone. Sorry that I wasn't respectful. Mio-san. Please call me Shion. Changed her tune, right click. Tell you what. 1 second, just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything on YouTube. Okay. She seemed content that I changed my attitude. She kept giggling for a while. She didn't seem that reliable. I didn't want to be acquainted with her for too long. But I don't get to talk to people very much. And what she said interested me. Let me introduce myself again. I'm Mio Takano. Call me Mio. Nice to meet you, Mio-san. I'm Shion Sanozaki, Mion's twin sister. Call me Shion. I took the hand Mio held out as a sign of reconciliation. Please tell me more. You said that there are always 2 victims? One dies due to the curse and the other one is a sacrifice? Shion-chan. Yes, hi, hello. Ah, Delta Yo, thank you for becoming a pack rabbit. Welcome. Before we get into that, could you tell me why you became interested in this? She leaned over and looked into my eyes. It was kind of uncomfortable. Mio-san, how much do you know about me? I guess you have an idea of if you know my name. I don't know much. I just see that you recently returned from a boarding school. I see. So I think you can imagine that I want to know about the series of mysterious deaths that happened while I was away. I'm just curious. I see. You're curious, eh? I got the impression that she knew what happened to Satoshi-kun and me, because she instantly recognized me as Shion, not Mion. I don't know why I thought that way, as she shouldn't have access to the sources for that. For instance, Oishi does. It was just the look in her eyes that made me think that way. Let me ask you a question this time. You called me a fellow researcher of Oyashiro-sama's curse, didn't you? So, why are you researching the curse? You also stated that there's always an even number of victims in the mysterious deaths. Is it true that Hinamizawa's mysterious deaths are often called Oyashiro-sama's curse? But why would you delve into the mysterious deaths if you were researching the curse itself? Shion-chan, you're asking too many questions at once. I can't tell what you really want to know. Oh, I couldn't say anything in return. Maybe I had been too inquisitive. I'll answer your questions one by one. I'm not just researching the curse, as my subject is much broader than that. I'm researching the history of Onigafuchi village. In plain terms, I'm researching the dark and the ancient history of Hinamizawa. Onigafuchi village? Isn't Onigafuchi village Onigafuchi the bottomless swamp that some people believe is connected to hell? And what dark history? I kept asking questions. Mio-san, however, looked pleased to hear them. Onikafuchi Village is the old name for Hinamizawa. It was known back before the Meiji era. About the dark history. You know a little bit about the man-eating demons, I assume. Ah, the man-eating demons, huh? It was a fairy tale told in Hinamizawa. A long time ago, demons came out of the swamp, and while the villagers battled with them, they ended up living peacefully together. The villagers transcended and became a sacred people, having demon blood in their veins. That long-forgotten fairy tale came back to my mind vividly. You know the story because you're a villager, of course. But what about the story of the cannibal banquet? Huh? What's that? You know that the villagers have the blood of man-eating demons in their veins, don't you? Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I dodged the question. Hinamizawa used to be a desolate village, but grew in prominence after the Second World War and expanded its influence to Okinomiya and other areas. The people who disliked and discriminated against the villagers called us man-eating demons. I remember that. The young villagers don't take it seriously. The older people can get seriously upset about it. They certainly can't take it as a joke. So the term man-eating demons is forbidden. We normally never use it. Even during my rebellious phase, I never spoke those words. Mion-san, however, seemed to have no qualms with saying it out loud. Are you upset? About what? I know people hate that phrase in Hinamizawa. I apologize if I made you feel uncomfortable. The old people wouldn't like it, but I'm fine. Would you continue? Thanks. Okay, so the ancient villagers had a custom of cannibalism. They ritualized this custom and held various ceremonies based around it. The festival we hold in June isn't just an early summer festival. It used to be a banquet in which the villagers chased after a sacrifice and ate them. They bound the sacrifice to a table, gutted them, and dumped the organs into a river. Wata can mean cotton, but it also means organs. That's the root of the word watanagashi. Organ drifting. Watanagashi. Indeed. I believe they started using futon mats to cover it all up around the Meiji era, according to my research. They wouldn't be able to do that openly nowadays. Oh. Everything Mio-san was talking about sounded startling. I was just taken aback. I couldn't wholly believe it right away. You sensed that from my expression. It's not a hoax. I didn't make any of this up. If you promise not to tell anyone, I can show you my notes on Watanagashi. Mio-san took out a notebook from her bag and flipped through it. She appeared to be doing her research thoroughly. Thank you. I'd love to read it. Sure. translate. Can't speak. You cozy over there, Cody? Sure. I'd like to keep it confidential. I guess I should share it with my fellow researcher. Yeah, that's good. Makes me happy when you guys are cozy. It's my first time playing. Hi. Mio-san handed me the notebook a bit hesitantly. It looked like it'd take a whole night to finish reading. It was densely packed with information. I saw copies of various documents and quotes in there too. It wasn't just some delusion of hers. You told me that one person dies because of the curse, and another person is sacrificed and disappears, right? A person is sacrificed and disappears. Satoshi couldn't have gone missing. Did he become a sacrifice? What is a sacrifice anyway? Mio-san looked pleased to hear my questions again. She looked out another notebook and handed it to me. I think you'll understand once you read it, but I'll give you a digest version. Orishiro-sama's curse is simply Orishiro-sama's anger. In other words, the curse is caused by Orishiro-sama's anger. Do you follow? Yes. You're saying that Orishiro-sama was mad at the people who opposed the village during the dam conflict. That's why the curse occurred. That's right. Orishiro-sama's anger has to be pacified. If not, something evil, even worse, will occur. So all the successive priests at the Furude shrine had to perform a sacrifice every time the curse struck, in order to pacify Orishiro-sama. It's called the sacrificial ritual. So, each year on the day of the Watsunagashi, one person dies because of the curse, and another one is sacrificed to pacify Orishiro-sama's anger? But only one person is actually murdered each time. I've never heard of human sacrifices being made. Naturally, there's no body. The ritual of sacrifice requires the offering to be sunk into the Onigafuchi swamp. That swamp is bottomless, and no one would ever sacrifice once they've been thrown in there. No body would ever be found, of course. So, one of the victims is always thrown into the swamp every year? So that means Satoshi-kun is also at the bottom of that dark green swamp? I don't know. I'm not sure that they actually throw them into the swamp. But those who make those incidents happen must be eliminating one person based on that legend. Each year, a traitor to the village dies on the day of the Watsunakashi because of Orishio-sama's curse. And another person is sacrificed in order to pacify Orishio-sama's anger. That person's body will never be found because he or she is supposedly thrown into the bottomless swamp. Yes, you get it. The series of mysterious deaths always involves both the curse and the sacrifice. It's a system that allows 2 traitors to die every year. What I'm telling you probably isn't sufficient, so it might be hard to grasp. Instead, I want you to take the time to read my notes. You'll see that what I'm telling you isn't far from the truth at all. I heard a man's voice just then. A middle-aged man with a hat was waving at Mio-san from the entrance. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to talk to you more. But I guess we'll have another chance to chat. I'll leave those notes to you. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions. Mio-san wrapped up the conversation and headed to where the man was waiting for her. She left her old notebooks in my hands. Mio-san waved at me as she left the party with her companion. I took a seat again and opened what she had given me. What bugged me was the series of mysterious deaths, also known as the curse of Orishio-sama. Maybe I'd be able to get closer to the truth by reading these notebooks. If I studied them carefully, I might be able to find out who was really behind the incidents. Why did Satoshi-kun have to disappear? What was he involved in? How did that happen? Maybe Takano's notes would bring me to the answer. Research notes. Mio Takano. I started flipping through the pages this time, making sure no one was watching over my shoulders. It was time for the library to close. I had to leave. I brought some food on my way home. I shut my door and locked it right away. Then I heard the door of the neighboring apartment open. Hasai lived next door. Nobody else lived on this floor of the nearly empty apartment building anyway. I clearly heard the door open and close. Hasai must have noticed that I'd come home and was coming over because he wanted to talk to me. I unlocked the door and shouted out to him. Is that you, Kasai? I'll leave the door unlocked for you. I'm not Kasai-san, Sion. That voice. I twitched. Can I come in? Sure. Shh, sis. The door slowly opened. My alter ego, Mion Sonozaki, appeared. She was holding a box of cake, while smiling timidly. Are you going to keep standing there until I escort you? Come in. Sorry this room doesn't look very cute. It looks comfortable. Sis looked a bit tense entering. Anime wa mimashita? Yes. Yes, I did see the anime. I did see the anime, actually, I did, yeah. I never finished it, though. Yeah. Never finished the anime though. She looked a bit tense entering my room. It was my first time there. Why? Oh, I'm bad at finishing anime. No, it's not that I didn't like it. I just never got around to finishing it. And then I started playing the game, so I wanted to finish the game first. It was our first time here. Ooh. What do you want, Teddy? Teddy, what do you want? How's life? My new school is as boring as I thought it would be. I usually go, but I skip classes when I don't feel up to it. I wouldn't do that when I couldn't do that when I was going to St. Lucia's. So St. Lucia's is really tough, huh? Huh. You should go there sometime. Sorry to interrupt you. No, you're not interrupting. I like to chat with everyone. And honestly, like I have been studying Japanese for a long time. So like you typing in Japanese actually like forced me to like figure out what you were saying. No thanks for that. Sorry. I brought cake. Let's eat. Mion opened the box. I saw two cheesecakes there. We have the same taste in food. We don't have to fight, so we don't have to fight if we get two of the same thing. I chatted with her over the cheesecake. I talked to her about school and whatnot. If you need furniture, tell me. I might be able to get some for you. I finally got used to this room, but I might move out soon, so furniture won't be necessary. Thanks though. Dad wants me to come back home. I don't want to live with him, but he sounds desperate. He'd be pleased if you came home. You looked lonely while you were gone. You can only say that because you don't have to live with him. Come to think of it, this was the first time I talked to Sis since I was allowed to live as Shion Sonozaki. She didn't look like she was at the Sonozaki house that day. She didn't look like how she was at the Sonozaki house that day. The successor of the Sonozaki family and my twin sister were two different people. The demon lives inside a leader of the Sonozakis. Our bodies are exactly the same, except for the tattoo of a demon on her back. Mion's destiny as a successor was set in stone when she got that tattoo. It's pretty simple. The Mion from that night was different from the Mion before me. When I was forced to tear off my fingernails, I'd momentarily despised her. But if I were the next leader of the family, I'd have done the same. Shion, how are your fingernails? The ones have closed. I don't bandage them anymore because it looks too conspicuous. But my nails still look ugly, so I really don't like showing them to people. I sneered at her, displaying my incomplete fingernails. Mion grew quiet and looks down. You don't have to apologize. You did what you had to do. You just played the role of the successor. I'm not holding any grudges. I'm sorry. Okay. Apology accepted. But if you apologize one more time, it'll be cancelled. I won't forgive you for the rest of my life. Huh? What do you mean? Once you start apologizing, you never stop. So I'm cutting you off. Will you really forgive me? About Satoshi-kun as well? My heart ached when she mentioned his name. I just felt like the ache of an old wound. I figured you'd loved him. No wonder. No wonder I shouted it out loud in front of all of you. I'm not embarrassed anymore. Granny truly believes you have atoned. She thinks you've done all you've needed to do. So the matter is finished. That's good. My pain won't go to waste then. I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to, though. I started choking when I heard her say that. I just said it to her myself. And I had forgiven her completely. But that promise instantly evaporated. Just because of what she said, it felt like I had turned into a completely different person. What did you just say, Mion? Did you say, I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to? Who else would know other than you and your folks? What did you say? Where did he go? I felt my eyeballs reddening in anger. I felt as though they were about to pop. I choked on a burning sensation in my throat. Mion's expression rapidly changed. It looked like she had noticed a devil's mask on my face. We were one and the same. We could understand each other's thoughts without voicing them. So showing our expressions was like unveiling everything in our hearts to the other. Sorry. Even though I told her not to apologize anymore, Mion apologized. I felt like strangling her. I was going to make her confess where she'd hid Satoshi-kun. She told me she threw him into the Onagafushi swamp, and I strangled her to death right then and there. I really don't know what happened to Satoshi-kun. That's a lie. It's true. Granny doesn't know anything either. Please believe me. That's a lie. Are you saying that Oyashiro-sama's curse demoned him away? There can't be a curse. There can't be. Words kept coming from my mouth, like I was chanting a spell. I wasn't speaking by my own will anymore. It was the demon who was controlling me. The demon that had been sleeping inside me woke up and was speaking through my mouth. My hands, the demon's hands, grabbed me on by the neck. You guys demoned Satoshi-kun away. You and the Sonozaki family. Give him back to me. Give him back. My hand slowly but surely squeezed Mion's neck. Mion put her hands onto mine. I looked at her fingers. 3 of the fingernails on her left hand looked as ugly as mine. Mion? What's this? You see the hip hat? Oh, yes, hydrate. Thank you. my throat was starting to get scratchy. What's this? Tears rolled down her cheeks. She didn't have to answer. She had the same scars as I did. She atoned as well. Thank you, Cody. The way those wounds were healing looked the same as mine. Did she get these wounds around the same time as I did? It was unfair that only you had to go through that. I felt so bad. Mion started sobbing. I stood there, petrified, still wringing Mion's neck. Since I found out you loved Satoshi-kun, I really wanted you to be happy. Aww. Because it's always only you who has to suffer, even though we're twins. Hi Ventus, how are you doing? It didn't come as a surprise to me that Mion might have also loved Satoshi-kun as I did. We always liked the same stuff, and even the same people. She was stupid enough to feel obligated towards someone like me. Just woke up? Did you sleep well? I told Granny to leave you and Satoshi-kun alone. I shouted at her. And she said she'd let you be if you atoned with sincerity. And you did. So you were supposed to live happily with him. But Satoshi-kun has gone away. It's terrible. Mion wasn't smart enough to shed crocodile tears. Those tears were real. Her tears dissolved my demon's anger, like how the sun melts ice. Believe me, Shion. I really don't know why Satoshi-kun disappeared. Neither Granny nor the Sonozaki family have anything to do with it. Granny forgave you, so she would never do anything to him. Slept decently. Also noticed a new game Spike Chunsoft is releasing. What is it? Is it the new the Somnium Files game? Or is that a different game? Mion, I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you? Yeah, that one's coming out. I think in like July. This one's coming out pretty soon. We still need to finish the first and second one though, before we can play that one. I took my hands off her neck and held her instead. I'm not hurt. You've been hurt a lot more than me, haven't you? I shouted at the demon in my mind. I believed in Mion. I had only been convinced that it was the Sonozaki family. I had been convinced that it was the Sonozaki family that made Satoshi-kun disappear. But Mion denied it, while shedding tears. Between her and me, her tears were more convincing than any words. So I believe her. It absolutely wasn't the Sonozaki family that made him disappear. So do you think that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of Oyoshiro-sama's curse? I don't believe in curses. And Mion didn't do it. If it wasn't the curse or the Sonozaki family, Who demoned him away? I don't know. I just know it's not Mion. It's not the Sonosaki family because Mion says so. That's stupid, Shion. Are you going to ignore Satoshi-kun's voice? I know. You don't have to remind me, Demon. I can hear his voice. I know he's mumbling with an ambivalent expression like he always used to do, even though he knows help won't come. I'll help him no matter what. I'll save him if he's alive. I'll avenge him if he's dead. But Mion didn't do it. You just want to take it out on somebody, it just doesn't matter who. But I'm Shion, not a demon. You're only a part of me. Don't try to take control. Off. Don't ever show up again. The demon faded away. My body went limp and fell to the floor while holding Mion. Shion, are you alright? I'm alright now, Mion. Why are we two different individuals? Why can't we just be one? Stop it. We've asked ourselves that so many times. But there's no answer. I'm Shion and you're Mion. That's just how it is. I don't care if I'm Mion or Shion. I just want to be one and equal with you. There's nothing we can do. Looked interesting since it seems to have room escapes from the Zero Escape games. Oh, very interesting. I believe you guys also mentioned Zero Escape, and that's a game I should play that because I'd like it. There's nothing we can do. You have the demon on your back. That's cute. I do something cute. You're destined to become the successor. And we can't change that. I don't want that. I don't need a demon. I don't want it. I'm not a demon. I'm not. I want to be a human like you. Mion is a demon and Shion is a human. Even though we're twins, there's a difference between us. It's impossible for humans. Is it impossible for humans to live with demons after all? It should be possible, because they did it before. That's the lesson of Hinamizawa. Second eye has one Easter egg after finishing about Zero Escape, where Aiba needs to escape a room. Oh, I see. That's the lesson of Hinamizawa. Humans and demons lived in harmony together, as Oyoshio-sama watched over them. Mion, Shion, Shihoshi-kun. Demons, humans, Oyoshio-sama's curse, a series of mysterious deaths, Shigoshi-kun's disappearance. We fell asleep while holding each other, while holding everything. I think that's the end of the chapter. I said I wanted to do 8, 9, and 10 tonight. This stream might be a little longer. 50, 64, and 85. I saw Miyotaka a few times after that. At her core, she was fascinated with the bizarre, and she had an insatiable curiosity that was just as wrong. I have to remind myself not to take her story too seriously. Otherwise, I might start believing that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of the curse. She talks about the dark history of Hinamizawa a lot. It's all very interesting. Her theories are based on nothing but conjecture. But some of her intuition covers... I'm super excited. We're getting to the best parts of Meakashi yet? Are we? Oh boy. It's a good thing we're reading 3 chapters tonight instead of 2. I just decided that on a whim. Her theories are based on nothing but conjecture, but some of her intuition covers facts that only members of the Sonosaki family would know. She thinks that Oyoshiro-sama's curse is the continuation of those ancient rituals. In other words, she believes that the curse is performed by religious fanatics. According to her theory, a religious cult once existed in Hinamizawa, and the 3 families stemmed from it. She believes that they are operating behind the scenes in order to revive the dignity of the Onigafuchi people, which was lost during the Meiji era. Mio-san's theories are far-reaching, and looking at them on a larger scale, they end up making a lot of sense. They don't offer any explanation for Satoshi-kun's disappearance when using them on a smaller one. Her theories are just too broad. 54. Or 64. I exchange information with Oishi every now and then. We'd expect new leads from each other, but neither of us had any luck. I no longer believed the tip that Satoshi-kun might have headed to Tokyo. It was clearly bogus anyway. Although I can't befriend Oishi, she's been fair about the deal. She alone has been serious about uncovering any new information. Oishi's sources are quite reliable, so whenever I find some dubious tip, I checked with him to see if it was valid. My meetings with him have diminished in frequency, since he's been assigned to new cases. Eventually, we stopped meeting entirely. Oishi stopped investigating, and I've reached the limits of my sources of information. People now think that Satoshi-kun's disappearance was a supernatural phenomenon called deemed away. In Hinamizawa, they refer to his disappearance as him having transferred, and nobody will talk about it otherwise. I don't like the way that phrase is used to erase him. 85. During the upheaval surrounding Oyoshiro-sama's curse in 1982, I was pulled this way and that by a few leads on Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Every time I found information that looked promising, I kept changing my theories. But it also became an incredible burden on me. It wore me down plenty on its own. The fatigue was harsh, but it also provided a very kind acceptance. Bit by bit, it soothed away the anger, sadness, and doubt that wore me down. I'll never forget about Satoshi-kun. I'll try to never forget him and move on. I constantly repeated those to myself in my head. I repeated them to keep my memories of Satoshi-kun from fading too, over and over. For the sake of my fond memories of Satoshi-kun, together with my fear and my sadness, I repeated them forever and ever. Alright. I'm gonna make some more tea real quick before we go on to chapter 8. I'll be right back. I will... play the rain sounds for you guys while I'm gone. Here you go. Yes, hi, hello. Welcome back. I just got back. Okay. A love that is light and fleeting like a silk bottle. If it seeks the sky, it will break and vanish before long. The girl's thoughts weren't granted. The tears that were shed changed to the color of blood and yearned for sacrifice. The sadness that pierced her transformed into rage, and ultimately to murderous intent. Everything was absorbed in pure black, and the darkness continued to spread. In the end, even to herself. Would it be better if I hadn't been born? This blood-stained hand couldn't even grasp the air. 1983. The fourth year of the series of Mysterious Destiny Namizawa, also known as Oyashiro-sama's Curse, 1 year after Satoshi Hojo's disappearance. I hadn't been able to get used to my new school in Okinomiya, but I had some friends there now. Since I got a part-time job at my relative's store, I had some extra pocket money too. I ended up living with my parents after all, so I didn't have to pay for living expenses. It felt great to freely spend the money I earned from working. I still used the room Kasai set up for me from time to time. It was a convenient hideout for when I didn't want to see my parents. In fact, I was planning to spend a day there today. Damn, that teacher. She told my parents I was skipping classes. Dad got upset, and that's why I didn't want to stay at home. I had been asking for it, though. My teacher should know that my dad is a Yakuza, and he gets really scary when he's mad. Hang on. On the whole, my life had been going well so far, except that it was boring. The reason I could enjoy this lifestyle is probably because I had to live in secret before. It was a great relief to be able to live without having to fake my identity. Well, that might have been a valuable experience. I think I learned from it. I was going grocery shopping and thought I'd get enough food for a week or so. My parents would appreciate my presence more after missing me for a week. I was doing this for their sakes. Oh, wait. Isn't there a 100 yen sale today? Yeah, there is. I knew how to save my pocket money. I was in a good mood, so I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like I was inside a little whirlwind. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mio? Mio? Moi? Moin? I'm not sure how you say your name. Oh, welcome. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewall. It was obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow. What the? Who parked this motorcycle here? I gave the motorcycle a kick with no hesitation. There are 3 motorcycles lined up in a row. They felt like dominoes. It was beautiful and so much fun. Oh? This was odd. I felt like I had gone through the exact same experience before. Yes, hi, hello. Mixie Original? Thanks for becoming a fat rabbit. Welcome in. While blinking eyes in an effort to recall when that was, some people grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. It looked like these punks were the owners of those motorcycles. They started shouting at me. It was really strange. I was having deja vu. Fuck. I can't even read what they're saying. That's right. It was when I met Satoshi-kun for the first time. He came to save me. If I pretended to cry again now, would he come to save me again? I made a wish. I started pretending to cry and beg for mercy. At that time, I doubted my tears. Cut it out. Can't you see she's crying? It was a boy about my age. I couldn't quite see his face because of the light illuminating him from behind. Satoshi-kun? Of course it couldn't be him. Not the British bikers. British. I can't even read what they're saying. It's too much. Couldn't be. Hello, my carrot cake bunny queen. Hello, cat ghost. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh my god. We finally have the budget to give Keiichi character art. Oh my god. We finally had the money to give him a sprite. Let's go. I realized that I wasn't Satoshi-kun after all. He looked less gracious than Satoshi-kun, so to speak. If Satoshi-kun was pristine and untouched, then this guy would have scratches all over him. But although they were completely different, I got a similar impression from him somehow. British. More angry British. Extremely angry British. Angry British. The boy looked a bit taken aback. Well, I just thought you might want to let her go because she's crying, so... Huh? Immediately folds. Whoa, hold on. I'm against violence. What was up with this guy? I felt ashamed and that I mistook him for Satoshi-kun even for a second. He seemed cool at first, but he wasn't as cool as Satoshi-kun after all. Well, I mean, I'm sorry that your motorcycles were knocked down, but I hope you don't feel too bad about it. How could I make you feel better? Of course, we don't have any money on us, you know. Excuse me? Hey, are you kidding me? I tightened my grip on the stun gun in my pocket. Then I turned it up to the maximum intensity. Don't hold a grudge against me if you die, pervs. Jesus Christ. They indulged in their imagination which aroused their spirits. Hey now, why are you pervs closing in on me? Your gross hands are groping the air. Are you gonna try and violate me? Hey, are you out of your mind? Don't touch me with those filthy hands. Then a flash of light cut through the air. Was that the boy? Blows like thunderbolts knocked the punks down. Wow, was he actually strong after all? You don't have a clue, idiots. There's nothing arousing about stark nakedness. Leave her socks on at least. No matter what. That's the ironclad rule. Listen up, monkeys. What's the difference between Homo sapiens and other animals? That's right, humans wear clothes. Human beings without clothes are just animals. If you get a flash only when the girl is completely naked, you are less than human. You might as well be animals. I would knock some sense into you. That's crazy. You mentioned a porn movie, didn't you? Let's say there's a cosplay sex video. The definition of cosplay is too broad. To lecture on that subject is difficult as explaining the spirit of Yamamoto to Yankees. Down from 2 B29s. Yeah, that's him. That's Keiichi Maebara. So I'll limit the scope to the most popular one, school uniforms. What are the 3 most prominent divisions of the larger category of school uniforms? Answer me. That's right. Regular uniforms, gym uniforms, and school swimsuits. Both sailor style and blazer style are included under regular uniforms, by the way. Gym shorts and bloomers are likewise. And the color difference between white and navy school suits are the same. Well, doesn't this sound exciting already? Let's say each of you has a preference in one of these 3 divisions. Hey, you Delinquent A, you take the regular uniform. Delinquent B, you take the gym uniform. And Delinquent C, you take the school swimsuit. Picture the image in your head within 3 seconds. Are you done? That's not good enough, do it again. Let's say there's a porn video of your favorite cosplay. Use your imagination, come on. Say sir, yes sir when you got it. Are you really military men, you maggots? Good. You all seem to have an image in your heads now. Let's move on. Imagine that your favorite cosplay is stripped entirely naked because of your stupid desire. Now think. If you take all of their clothes off, it's not a cosplay anymore, isn't it? That sort of video is rampant lately. It's just lamentable. Humans without clothes aren't civilized, they're animals. If only naked girls excite you, you'd be a pack of dogs, monkeys, or pheasants. Pack your bags and get out. Wait, get back here. As you know, a large amount of Russian porn videos are going around lately, thanks to the end of the Cold War. You don't know that? Get out of here. I heard that a style called Beautiful Russian Girl. That's our pro dad. He's nothing if not passionate, which is a combination of the Japanese uniform fetish and some Russian thing, is emerging, but I will never accept that. School uniforms are a part of Japanese culture and art. Those stupid barbarians will never understand the Japanese spirit. Are you listening? You pathetic squid. Okay. At that point, I heard a bustle of people running this way. I gathered some people. I saw several kids running towards us. It seemed like our backup had arrived. Oh shit. Let's get out of here. The 3 punks had just been standing there agape. They started running away when they saw that many people. You're awesome, Meibara-san. You had those punks transfixed all by yourself. One of them even had a nose bleed. You're so strong, Meibara-san. It seems my personal aura has grown more powerful. If this keeps up, I'll soon surpass even Kos's Made in Heaven reality marble. Anyway, are you alright, Mia? KT aura farming confirmed. Yeah. This boy, as appreciately called Maebara, turned to face me. Even the way he mistook me for Mion sounded like Satoshi-kun. But Satoshi-kun isn't a pervert like him. I was anxious to see how you'd fight back, but I guess 3 guys were too many, huh? I don't believe it. I was so confused, I couldn't grasp the situation. Who was this guy? Mion has friends like him? I was still spacing out in shock. So I forgot to move, until his hand touched my head. Well, you know, I'll forget that I saw you cry. So cheer up, okay? I think anybody would be confused in this situation, to be fair. Absolutely. What the fuck was even that? The boy called me Bara, strokes my head, roughly. It didn't feel good. It hurt, actually. But still, his hand had the same warmth. Later on, Mion told me about him. He was called Keiichi Maebara. Kei-chan for short. He's 1 grade below us. Not only that, he just moved to Hinamizawa. Thanks to his attitude and lack of manners, he's already become an idol in their class. Mion joyously explained all of this. Sure, he sounded like a fun kid. He went from I'm against violence to I'll make a man out of you Higurashi edition. Sure, he sounded like a fun kid. I knew why Mion was into him, but Satoshi-kun is way cooler. He wasn't worth stealing from Sis. Or was he? My heart throbbed. I was excited. I felt like I'd gotten a new toy. I was curious as to what kind of relationship Mion intended to build with him. I'd love to tease her about it. Thanks, Kei-chan. Let me buy you a drink. My uncle's restaurant is just nearby, so why don't we go there? Satoshi-kun would refuse out of modesty. But Keiichi Meipara said okay within 2 seconds. Well then. I couldn't wait to tease the two of them. My boring life suddenly became bright again. Oh, hey, don't cling to my arm. Oh, you don't like it? Well, I don't hate it, it's just your breasts are touching me and... My breasts bother you? Keiichi Meibara was fun. Mion thought the same way I did. She would always talk about him. I was happy for her. It made me smile. I guess Kei-chan really is your favorite. Huh, sis? What's the most interesting thing about him? Let's see. To put it plainly, he's just funny. For example, just a couple of days ago in the club, Mion really liked him. But didn't seem to think it was love yet. She's reserved in that area, so that was really like her. As for me, well, I didn't hate him, but my feelings weren't the same as Mion's. Kei-chan was just too childish compared to Satoshi-kun. I wondered how Satoshi-kun was doing. Was he waiting for things to cool down somewhere far away? The case had already been solved, though. That dopehead was the murderer. There was no reason for him to wait anymore. I'm gonna have to translate that. I shook my head. I shouldn't think about that too much. Oh wait, I know. The case was confidential. So the arrest of the culprit hadn't been made public. So Satoshi-kun hadn't realized that he could come back. I know he's a little thick-headed. Do I prefer Keiichi or Satoshi? I mean... On that next level copium, she is. She is huffing copium. She needs that copium, Jesus Christ. I think I like... Honestly, Keiichi kind of reminds me of Teddy. Keiichi kind of reminds me of Teddy. I think I prefer Keiichi more. His personality is more like Teddy, to be honest. Keiichi's just your average one-of-the-mill dude, TBH. Yeah. I know. I don't know, not with Satoshi, because, like, we can't... we can't both be the person who's like too afraid to tell the waitress that I asked for fries when she forgets my fries, you know, like because he's not gonna do like no, we can't both nah. Someone has to tell the waitress that I ordered fries and it's not gonna be me. Okay? Yeah, I prefer Geichi is one of those protagonists that 85 of the guys look at and go, he like me for real. As much as I like Satoshi. He is. Oh my god, he's just like me for real. Maybe he'd be waiting for things to calm down until the end of time. But if so, shouldn't he give a call to Satsuko at least? He could tell her she's living in a faraway place, but that he'd be coming home soon. Ah, that stupid Satsuko. She'd been living with Rika Furude since Satoshi-kun went away. Nobody would pick up the phone even if he called. Stupid girl. Don't you want your big brother to come home? Given Satoshi-kun's personality, he wouldn't remember any phone numbers other than his home phone number. So he wouldn't be able to contact anybody in Hinamizawa. Tio needs to have an intervention about the dangers of copium abuse and addiction. Maybe he's been calling Satsuko every night. He keeps ringing, but nobody picks up. Then he'd assume Satsuko might be taking a bath or be in the restroom. He'd put on a puzzled smile while mumbling, like always. I imitated his voice without realizing it. After that, what? What? Max Lovely Despacito. What's up? Didn't you say something, Suyo? Oh. I feel like this name needs to be read out loud in its entirety. The one and only Goat 14 MLS. Thank you for becoming a pack rabbit. Hello, welcome. Nice name. I'm good. I laughed it off and urged Shion to continue. I realized then that her tone had changed. I hadn't been listening to her because I was thinking about Satoshi-kun. My ex gave me this game and I kind of stuck with it for a month. We're on we're on chapter 5, like the fifth game in the series. So we're a little far. I thought she was still happily talking about Kei-chan. We were playing Higurashi. Higurashi When They Cry. We're on chapter 5 for the 5th installment. Yeah. Yeah. Even slowly getting through the series over the past, like, yeah, I think the past year. Yeah. Your voice is soothing. I'm struggling to stay awake. I get that a lot. It's just such as my I guess having a voice like this is probably good for an ASMR VTuber, so hey Shion, are you disassociating and fantasizing about Satoshi? This is I feel like this is probably a day I feel like that's probably a daily occurrence. I feel like Shion can't look at anything without thinking about Satoshi. Someone breathes and she's like, Satoshi used to breathe. Satoshi used to eat food. Amazing stream. I must head to bed. Well, thanks for following, and I hope you sleep well. Good night. Satoshi used to blink sometimes. Satoshi used to go to the grocery store. I thought she was still happily talking about Kei-chan, but Mion sounded grim now. Her fake smile looked pitiful. It was too late to ask what was going on. So instead,
Yes, hi, hello.
Puppy wants uppies. Thanks for becoming a pack rabbit. That's such a cute name. Welcome. That's so cute. So instead, I concentrated on her story. Well, after that, Uncle gave everybody a doll as a thank you gift. Everybody except for me. Okay, except for you. Aw, I wanted one too. But I couldn't say it in front of everybody. You still can't express your feelings, huh? Yes, this happened. I believe that was the second game where they all went to Shion's uncle's like store, like the toy store, and Kei got a doll and he gave it to Rena instead of Mion. That's what she's talking about, isn't it? Imagine getting ratio because you didn't give the tomboy a doll. I mean, between the two, I felt like, like, if I was in that situation, I feel like I'd probably give Rena the doll too. Because I know how much, like, Rena loves cute things. And then, Mion sniffled. I realized she was on the verge of tears. The cutest doll was in Kei-chan's bag. And you wanted that doll? It didn't matter which one. But although Kei-chan knew only I didn't get one, he didn't give it to me. He didn't give it to me. He said the doll wouldn't fit me and that I should be born as a boy in my next life. Okay. What? Rena obsessed with cute things? The girl who conscripted Keiichi to haul Colonel Sanders back to her house? Damn. Like, Rena would eat up the Colonel Sanders visual novel. I'm pretty sure there's a visual novel where you can romance Colonel Sanders. She'd love that. She'd love that so much. I might play that one of these days. I think that would be funny. Said the doll wouldn't fit me and that I should be born as a boy in my next life. Okay. I actually forgot that he said this. But like that's now that I think about that, that's like a really like terrible thing to say to a girl. Especially like obviously he doesn't know that she has a crush on him, but if I had a crush on a boy and he said that to me, I would be crying too. I'd be on the ground. I'd be on the ground. I'd be inconsolable. I'm like, oh God, he doesn't see me as a girl. Oh my God, no, I'm one of the bros. I mean, I'm fine with being one of the bros, but not in this instance. The anime kind of bleaches that a bit, but I think he says something about the doll not fitting a tomboy like her. Anyway, and she laughs it off in person, yeah. But like, I'm pretty sure like in the second game, when Rena talks to Keiichi, he tells her that what he said like really hurt her feelings. Because it would hurt most girls would probably not want to hear that from a boy that they like. That's what he said. That was Keiichi's weak point. He might be fun and popular, but he wasn't mature. Not like Satoshi-kun. Jesus fucking Christ. Why can you like... She's acting like one of those girls who like can't stop talking about their man, and she doesn't even have her man. There's no man to talk about. I want to start all over. Back to Delulu land. Back to Shion Delulu land. I want to start all over. I want to go back when I met him and start all over. I want him to treat me like a girl from the beginning. Don't take it too seriously. It'll be okay. Because it's just you who wants to start over. While he didn't notice anything wrong. It'd be harder if you guys fought over it or something. Can I start over? If you didn't cry in front of him, it's not too late. You can cry as much as you want, and if you show him a different side of you from tomorrow on, you can still fix it. Okay. I'm amazed how insensitive he is, but a part of that is just the impressions you've been giving of him so far. If you change your attitude from tomorrow on, you can still change his mind. How can I change my attitude? How? If I tell you to act cute, you'd start going to school in frilly clothes. So don't think, just be natural. But without overdoing it. Pay attention to how you behave around him. Oh, you're one to talk about insensitivity, Shion. Yeah. This is same girl who what did you do to Setsuko last year? Remember that? When the poor girl was crying? What did you do? What did you do to her? What did you do? I would say that was a little insensitive. Ah, and don't forget to be cautious of Rena. She's a bit ahead of you so far. Kei-chan might prefer Rena at this point. Her twin is literally pouring her heart out to her about her crush. Just crushed her and she's sitting there like... Satoshi used to be Keiichi, but... That's true. That's very true. She's really... That's true. Rena's really girly. She's cute and caring. Yeah, when she's not. I mean, yeah, just don't bring up Oyoshi or Sama around her and it's fine. That means you can't slack off for even a moment, sis, because you've got a rival. Tears can attract men, but they don't anchor them. You should always be smiling, but cry when it really counts. That's how you typically do it. Yeah, as long as she's... yeah, as long as she's not the bill... she's not got the bill hook near, she's usually fine. Yeah, yeah, it's fine. Just don't... yeah. Maybe I should try that on K-chan myself. Ah, no, don't. He's the boy you like. I guess it's natural that I like him too. The fact that it's like Shion actually does not like Keiichi and she's just doing this to fuck with Mion is like really shitty. She's like, I'm gonna steal your mans, not because I actually like him, just because I can, and I'm bored. How can I attract them? Hey sis, why don't we have a competition over him? No, never. I'll kick you into orbit if you come near Hinamizawa. Right though, she's literally described not just Keiichi, but also Satoshi as a fun toy. Like, girly pop, what is this? I'm happy for you, sis. It's not too late at all. It's important to know the distance between the boy you love and yourself, and shift the way you appeal to him to compensate. The boy I love is missing, you know? I don't even know where he is, or even when he's coming back. Compared to that, you're very lucky. Mion was saying she'd do her best from tomorrow on with red tearful eyes, but I sensed a deeply negative feeling emerging inside of me. Nobody was blaming Mion for being happy with Keiichi. People put too much thought into how to attract a man, give him food, now and then in your gold. Honestly, yeah. It really doesn't take much to make men happy, does it? In the 3 years that I've been with Teddy, I've kind of realized that, like, they're very, very easy to please. They don't really... you know, you do something for them, it's like, that's it? You don't want anything else? Nah, I'm good. Thanks for making me a sandwich, though. What the fuck? I wasn't envious. I wasn't jealous. I didn't want her to be blamed the same way I was blamed. Give us food, don't disrespect our friends as family, tolerate our hobbies, and respect. Nothing more, huh? Just... just basic level of kindness. That's it. That's all I need. It was just that there was no space for Satoshi-kun in Mion's mind anymore. It was filled with Kei-chan and her other friends now. It didn't matter to her if Satoshi-kun came back or not. Just like how she didn't care if it was sunny or rainy tomorrow. What about me then? Had I been thinking about Satoshi-kun all the time for the past year? I wasn't proud of my own answer. I'd become used to life without Satoshi-kun. His absence didn't hurt me anymore. I was getting used to life with Ch.8-10. And if I let my guard down, she might just fill up the space I've been saving for Satoshi-kun. If Shion had prayed harder for Satoshi-kun to return, he might have come home already. Where did Satoshi-kun go? Last year, right after his disappearance, I'd pay close attention to the information circulating in the Sonosaki family and its underground connections. And I frequently went to the police station to check with Oishi for new information. Even with all of that, I couldn't get any new leads on his whereabouts. I eventually became interested in Oyashiro-sama's curse, which surrounded Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I researched the dark history of the village. The more I looked into it, the less likely his survival seemed. I had returned Mio-san's scrapbooks to her, and then I hadn't gone to the library since. I started a new life in a new school. I made new friends, and in the same way, as falling leaves covered the ground, I felt like I was losing sight of what was really important to me. It was already almost the end of spring. They said that summer was coming early, and it'd be very hot this year. Normally it'd be the raining season now, but we had no rain at all. The Watsunagassi festival was right around the corner. It had been almost a year since Satoshi-kun went missing. In Hinamizawa, they don't allow you to openly talk about Oyashiro-sama's curse, or the series of mysterious deaths. Beyond Gale funny if Satoshi just moved to the next town over and comes back for the one. Yeah, I've just been laying low. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I just went to like a different town. It's like 30 minutes away from here. Yeah, it's like 30 minutes away from here, yeah. How's yeah, what did I miss? It's been a year. No one tell you I moved? Like, I thought y'all just hated me, so I said fuck y'all. So everybody acts like the murder of Satoshi-kun's aunt never happened. It's because Satoshi Hojo-kun was a member of the family of traders. He fell victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 4th year running. He was demoned away. I think Shion's brain would just cease to function, yeah. She'd be like, what the fuck? Everybody was trying to forget about his existence and erase their memories of him. Don't make him disappear because of the curse. Don't erase his existence. Satoshi-kun was living in Hinamizawa just a year ago. He went to school. He was an A student. He was a member of the Hinamizawa Fighters. He could never hit the ball when it really mattered. He was unreliable but pure. He was warm. Because of the curse, people made him disappear. They stopped mentioning his name and acted like he never existed. A new resident like Hajime wouldn't even know him. Don't erase his existence. I'll never forget him. I'll always love him, but also I want to try to see my sister's crush just because it's a thing I can try to do. I don't know, Shion. It sounds like you need a hobby. Sounds like Shion's got nothing going on. He seriously believes that Satoshi-kun had transferred out. I miss you, Satoshi-kun. I want to go shopping with you again. I want to be in a baseball game with you again and get a cold drink afterward. I want to tease you and I want you to stroke my head again. Your hand was warm. I felt as if my whole body was being caressed. Satoshi-kun. I haven't opened this notebook in a while. My feelings have been written down for over 150 pages. This notebook is the key to my heart. The other me who's been sleeping since last year is slowly waking up. Notebook, page 150. Ma'am, you knew him for like a week and a half. I don't know. I'm quite amused by your dirty deeds, Keiichi-san. He is a boy after all. Mi-chan, Si-chan. Keiichi-kun looks confused. Oh. Did you hear that, sis? We're not playing tug of war here. Are you trying to tear Kei-chan apart? I'm not playing tug of war. You're the one who's stretching him. Go back to Okinomiya, Shion. Okay, I will. Oops. I let go of Keiichi suddenly, so he and Sis flew off like a rubber band. Keiichi rolled on the ground while Sis was stuck in the bush head first. What lively people. See you, Kei-chan. Sis might assault me if I stick around any longer, so I'll get going. Oh, Shion. Thanks for today. Forget it. I didn't do too much. See you, Shion. His hand landed on my head. Rub, rub, rub. He stroked my head pretty roughly, but the warmth reminded me. Excuse me, I'm going. See you, sis. Don't ever come here again. Rena, keep your eyes on her. Satsuko, set traps. Rika-chan, purify this area with salt. The warmth remained on the top of my head. It felt ticklish and sore. I had to stop. I got off my moped and pushed that achy spot against the telephone pole. I'm sorry, Satoshi-kun, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never forgot about you, I still remember you. I'm worthless without you. I can't stand life without you because it's grey and cold and boring. It's true. I can never smile because you aren't here, I can't. See you, Shion. Keiichi's face appeared in my mind. I recalled the touch of his hand stroking my head. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy. It was rough and painful. I hate that insensitive guy. He's too childish and rude and cold. He's like a stray dog. I wasn't happy. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy or overjoyed at all. No. Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun mumbled. He didn't know what to say in a situation like this. But he knew that he'd better say something. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. So he just mumbled. She spent so much time in Deludlu land that they're starting to charge rent. I'm sorry, Shion. Why are you apologizing, Satoshi-kun? I'm the one who should apologize. Even though I said I'd wait for you, even though I believed my heart wouldn't change, my heart is full of holes. You're leaking out from the small cracks in my heart little by little. You're leaking out from me. Are you suffering because I'm here? Why? You're so precious to me. No, don't say that. I've been here with you all this time. But I think I'm hurting you by continuing to exist. I don't want that. It's not true. No, no. Where have you been, Satoshi-kun? You weren't with me. Tell me where you are. What's the address? What's the postal code? What's the name of the city? What's the street number? Tell me. There isn't an address. I knew it. Telling me you've always been with me, always by my side. That's such a cliche. Man's went to get milk. Tell Satoko I'm going out to get milk. I'll be right back. Which do you prefer, Chion? If I can give you strength, I'll stay by your side forever. But if you're suffering because of me, I'll disappear right away. Don't say that. I want to be with you always. I want to be with you forever. Okay, I'll stay with you then. Car passed by. The noise snapped me out of my reverie. The sky was turning orange. I should get home before it gets cold. I should go home to Okinomiya. You're with me, right? You're with me right now, Satoshi-kun? I walked back to my moped. My feet sank into the grass. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Maybe we should avoid visiting the Lululand and staring off into the sky with 1,000-yard stare on. What do you mean? That's like one of my favorite hobbies. I stopped when I reached my bike. Then I heard an extra footstep. Oh. Uh-oh. I gasped. I could feel somebody else's presence. I'm not stupid. Nobody else was around here. Nobody had suddenly appeared behind me. So I wasn't surprised to find nobody when I turned around. But he was definitely still there. Are we sure about that? Oh no! Not the extra footstep. Satoshi-kun. I couldn't see him, but he was there. He was there for me. Satoshi-kun never lies. He said he'd be with me all the time. He'd just been too insensitive. I'd just been too insensitive to feel his existence until now. Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun. A breeze tickled my hair. It felt cold, but to me, it was nothing but the warmth of his hand. It took me a while to notice that my cheeks were wet with tears. Crazy Mitchink is too far into Lululand. She hears the extra step and goes, Satoshi-kun is with— oh my god, Satoshi's with me. No, the extra step is a bad thing. You don't want to hear an extra footstep. That's bad. I don't think that's Satoshi. I was too scared to sleep. A demon following her around like, ma'am, you need to stop. You're making me uncomfortable. Like, okay, okay. Okay, sweetheart, I'm just trying to haunt. If I went to sleep, I might not find Satoshi-kun there in the morning. So I kept talking to him until I passed out. I told him about what had happened while he was missing. I told him that I realized that I loved him after he went away. I searched for him, looking into various different things. I gathered underground information through Kasai, and bargained for police information with Oishi, but I couldn't find any leads. A long time had passed, but I kept thinking about him. Damn, this is so fun, days. Etc., etc. I told him all the small details from my daily life. The places I wanted to go with him. The things I wanted to do with him. The food I wanted to share with him. And I told him a lot of things. And I was sitting up at first. But I got tired, so I laid down. I got tired of moving my mouth too, so I started talking to him in my mind. It was the happiest night I'd ever had. Who's gonna tell her? When I woke up, I will say though, I love how much of an unreliable narrator she is. Her and Keiichi are interesting and flawed characters that make for some fun protags, yeah. I definitely think making Shion a protagonist is a really good choice. I didn't find Satoshi-kun by my side, but I knew it somehow. I was afraid of it. That's why I didn't want to go to sleep. But at least I got to see him for one night. That's when just when I had resigned myself to that. I felt Satoshi-kun's presence again. It wasn't a dream after all, I thanked God. So I began my strange life with Satoshi-kun. As promised, Satoshi-kun was always by my side. He couldn't laugh, mumble, or stroke my head, but he was always with me. Always right by my side. He disappeared sometimes, but he'd come back when I looked for him. It seemed all I could hear was his footsteps. That was just the way it was. It was a bit sad, but I was still satisfied. His presence was really faint, so it was hard to sense him in a crowd. He never left me. If he were tangible, I'd be taking his hand all the time so he wouldn't be lost. In contrast, I could feel him very strongly in a quiet environment. Of course, I couldn't tell what his expressions were because he was just a presence. Shion, sweetie, I think that's what we call projection. I don't think the demon following you around is your missing boyfriend. I mean, if the demon wants to, maybe the demon feels bad for her and he's like, you know what? I'll pretend. I'll let her have this. But after I got used to it, I could tell what he was thinking. At first, I could only tell if he was laughing or not. Eventually, I started to feel his emotions more strongly. It'd be funny. It's like, you know what? I'll just pretend. This is really sad. I'll just pretend. I could communicate with him normally. I was usually alone with him, though. I didn't want to go to school or hang out with my friends anymore. But Satoshi-kun got upset about that. He'd keep mumbling unhappily. Now that I knew he'd always be with me, I shouldn't just stay home all the time. I was sticking to my alone time with him, however, because I was scared that he might suddenly disappear again, and I wanted to make the most of the time I was sharing with him right now. I must have been worrying too excessively. Meikashi-kun will always be by my side. Yeah. That was his promise. He never breaks his promises. It's fine. I promise. I was fine, because he was there. Of course, I didn't tell anybody about him, not even Sis. I could try to explain it to them, but they'd never understand. No, Shion, that's how you get involuntarily hospitalized. But I was certain that he was with me. So, I'd be alright. I'd never get fed up with life with him. He's really cute, you know. We always walk together, but when I stop, he always takes one extra step. That's so adorable, I love it. You know what? She could probably use a straight jacket. Maybe. Tion-chan, what are you going to do on Watanagashi this year? I guess I'll have some fun at the festival. Maybe I'll tease Sis and her friends. I wanted to go to the festival with Satoshi-kun. I knew he'd like to see me having fun with everybody. He might get jealous if I play with Kei-chan. But Satoshi-kun isn't very sensitive in that way. Josie-kun loved to see me and my friends have fun. So, I should have a lot of fun for his sake. Then I talked about the day with him later. How are you going to Hinamizawa? I can give you a ride if you want. I'm taking my moped, so you don't have to. I'm gonna hang out with Satoshi, the spirit following me, who's totally not Oroshiro-sama, just playing along with my delusions because he feels bad for me. He's just looking at her like, ugh, they're bored. You think at this point Oroshiro-sama is even starting to think that he's bitten off more than he could chew? Maybe he's like, you know what? Actually, maybe I shouldn't do this. maybe I'm in too deep. Not one to. Aren't you going to the family party afterwards? I can't let you drive under the influence. He won't let me drive, but he's kind enough to let me drink. He's gonna try to drive you crazy, but Jesus Christ, somebody beat me already. Alright, take me then. Good. Let's leave before nightfall. I'll come pick you up around that time. After Kasai left, I sensed that Satoshi-kun was excited about going to the festival. Watanagashi, huh? So it's been almost a year since you went away. Satoshi-kun seemed confused. But you're going all, right now, aren't you? We laughed together. Welcome. Here's your net and a bowl. Great. Wow, these fish are so active. Or is here someone just sitting there smoking the stress away like, what did I get myself in? Like, god damn it, this is died. They look delicious. I could eat this little one raw right here. Huh? What are you saying, Neon? Mi-chan, did you eat goldfish? Did you eat the one I gave you last year, too? No, I didn't say that. She shook her head hard. She turned red. But you just said it. You said they look delicious. I heard it too. Phrasing. If it's really good, I'll try it once. No, you can't, Rika-chan. You're gonna get sick. Wait a minute. Hey, yo. How long have you been here, Sion? Hi, Kei-chan, sis, and everyone else. Good morning. Good evening. Ah. When did you get here, Shion? I've been here since you were at the chow mein booth. I found you guys quickly since you were making so much noise. I love how sweet Rika is. He sees her friends being weird. Is like, you know what? Let me try and come to the rescue. It's like, hey guys, maybe let's let her cook. Maybe she's on to something. Let's let her cook them goldfish. Hey, you're not in our club. Get lost. Don't be mean, sis. Right? Kei-chan? You're fine if I come with you guys, right? I took Kei-chan's arm and held it between my breasts. Puff puff. We are going to have a ball. Yeah, I went around the booth with Sis and her friends. I joked around and laughed out loud. I teased Kei-chan and Sis too. Kei-chan was at the center of the group, so if I did something to him, it naturally involved everybody else. It looked like Satoshi-kun was having a hard time finding his own spot in the crowd. When I glanced at him in a quiet moment, he smiled and told me to have fun without worrying about him. If he were tangible, I'd pull his arm to join the crowd. It made me sad I couldn't do that. I bumped into somebody's shoulder. It was obviously my fault, so I apologized right away. As I turned out, it was somebody I knew. Oh, looks like you're having fun. Good evening, Shion-san. The moon looks beautiful tonight, doesn't it? Oh, it's been forever, Takano-san. And you were... Nice to meet you. I'm Tomitake. I heard you were Mion-chan's twin sister. Nice to meet you too, Tomitake-san. I heard you were a great cameraman. Please take a picture of me someday. I'm just an amateur dreaming of going professional. Well, you're actually great. They didn't have to make Tomitake so handsome. They didn't. He's so jacked. It's like he's a photographer, you know? That's like but man is bulking. Man is eating his protein. Low carbs. Hitting the gym 3 times a week. Like bro probably put me through a steel plate with muscles like that. Works out in his sleep. Oh, Chinny, you're awake. Where have you been? Hi. I've been here this whole time just lurking. Oh. I thought you fell asleep. Well, you're actually great, Jiro-san. You're good at many things. Oh. Oh, they fucking. I mean, it's established that, like, they are dating, but, like, they fucking. Ayo? Heard his character song? I have not. I didn't know he had a character song. No, I need to study more. I have no talent, so I have to put out a lot of effort to compensate. They must have been in a relationship. You two look so happy together. The anime gave most of the major cast character songs. When you're done with the VN, go take a listen. This is Tomitake Flash or something. Like that sounds like Superman. I see. Am I interrupting you? Oh no. I appreciate your consideration. You're not interrupting us at all. And you can call me Mio like before. Not Takano-san. It's a bit harder for me to call someone older than me by their first name. Oh, never mind. I smiled bashfully, and Takano-san smiled back elegantly. I haven't seen you in the library since. I wanted to talk to you more as a fellow researcher. Well, when I feel like it. A fellow researcher? Are you interested in it too, Shion-san? Shion, we don't acknowledge that the older lady is older. That's a recipe for that. Yeah, that is true. In fact, she probably would prefers to be called Mio instead of like, because that makes her seem younger. How do you do, fellow kids? I am also a kid as well. Yes, I am so young. Yes. Tomitake-san raised his eyebrows. As far as I knew, Takano-san's hobby wasn't exactly normal. And super hip with the times, yo. Memory serves me right, she's like early 40s in this? I think so. According to the wiki. She's like 30s to 40s, yeah. Yeah, she's around like Takano's age, and Takano's like middle-aged, so yeah. She's in her 40s? Yeah. MILF! MILF status, that's MILF age. Let's go! MILF! MILF! Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. If Tomitake is in his 40s, then that means he can go into the... That means that he's also like DILF status as well. Let's go. On the surface, her research dealt with the cultural history of ancient Hinamizawa, but its main focus was the Watsunagashi festival from ancient times. The cannibal banquet in which they captured and gutted a living sacrifice. Her research covered various stories surrounding that, and other legends of cruelty. It was nothing if not gory. Legendary convo of Jack's Dilf and the unhinged Milfner. Match made in heaven. That was where her main interests lay. So I didn't feel comfortable being called a fellow researcher, to be honest. But objectively speaking, her research notes were fun to read. It was then that I heard the loud booms of the taiko drums. The main event of the Watsunagashi festival, the dedication dance, was about to start. According to Takano-san's hypothesis, the start of the dance, where the shrine maidens tears open a futon mat, resembles gutting a living victim. Chia not here trying to act like she isn't as crazy. It's not crazy. I mean, when you live in Delulu land, you're not crazy, you know? Why does this woman's boobs look so funny? I don't know. It's probably maybe the shading. It's starting. I should head over. Aren't you guys coming? Aren't you guys coming to see Rika-chama's performance? Hmm? Hmm. Hamitake-san looked bewildered. Did that mean he wasn't coming? Takano-san giggled, then whispered in my ear. To tell you the truth, we're thinking of sneaking into the ritual warehouse. PS3 sprites? Yeah. See what? I can... What? Let's see, what do we have? We have... We have the remake and we have the console sprites. I do not like the console sprites. You don't have the PS3 sprites in this one. I feel like the console sprites aren't bad, but Higarashi's Steam sprites aren't bad, but the Umineko's Steam sprites look like the emu versions, really? I'll have to get the patch for Umineko then. So we can get the better sprites. She made it sounds like she was going to do something fun, but it wouldn't be amusing to someone who knew what the ritual storehouse was. Straight up change some character designs entirely? Bruh. I hate that. I hate when they do stuff like that. Like, why? The ritual storehouse, or the storehouse for ritual implements, is sort of a treasure house belonging to the Furude Shrine. I heard that Oyashiro-sama's sacred treasures are stored in there. Only people from the Furude family and selective members of the other 2-3 families are allowed to enter. They believe that if other people enter, the place will be desecrated. Everybody in Hinamizawa must have been curious about what was there when they were kids. But the storehouse is always tightly locked. You couldn't just peek into it either. Kids would get chided when they played around in it, or they played around it, so they learned to stay away. I didn't like being around it myself since I was familiar with all that. Even though I didn't believe in curses, I still didn't want to be near it. I don't know. Me personally, I don't think I really believe in curses, but like, I feel like there are just some places that you just shouldn't go. You know? There are just some places that you just shouldn't go, some things that you just shouldn't do, you know? It just invites something weird that you don't want, you know? Kind of funny if it's just random assorted foodstuffs. It's where they keep the snacks and they didn't want to share. Nothing good can come from breaking the rules. They were still going to enter the ritual storehouse despite all that? I'm pretty sure it's tightly locked. It was until last year. Rika-chan had the heavy bolt lock changed to a cheap padlock. Because the bolt was too heavy for her to lift. Did you know that? No. But even if it's cheap, it's still locked, isn't it? Jiro-san is very skilled. Oh, are you good at lockpicking? Regardless of your beliefs about curses, experiences, etc., like you said, there are just some places you just shouldn't tread, like old F-top graveyard and creepy old ritual rooms and murder. Absolutely, like just, you know that like house, that abandoned house down the street that like something like happened years ago, maybe don't go there. That weird graveyard, maybe don't go there. The fucking ritual storehouse that belongs to a like really malevolent god. Just don't. That's how you wind up on a milk carton, right? Like just don't. Just some things you just don't fuck with. Once the What's Nakashi ritual starts, everyone will gather around the stage, right? The area around the storehouse will be completely devoid of people. Tonight this place will be a blind spot. Can't see the forest for the trees, I suppose. According to her hypothesis, the ancient tools used for human dissection and torture would be found in the ritual storehouse. Why would you want to see that stuff? Why? You already know what's in there anyway, so like why go there? Why don't you join us in a bit? It's now or never. So maybe I'll see you then. Hakuno-san, what are you telling her? Oh, on God, why are women from the 80s like this? My mom's an 80s girl, and she's like, hey, let's go poke around the spooky place. In a place that's illegal for us to go in as gods. I don't know. I guess 80s women were just on something else. I don't know. Just girl talk. Girl talk is talking about breaking and entering. Let's go someplace dark for a quick date. Huh? Takano-san walked against the flow of the crowd alongside Tomitake-san. A ritual storehouse, huh? It was supposedly filled with torture tools. Planning B&E, running a B&E with your girls, hashtag is girly things, exactly, you know. We're girls. We like doing silly things like that. Considering that they had to go in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki house, that's quite possible. Yoshikun fell victim to the curse in the 4th year. His aunt's death was the sign of Orishio-sama's curse. Toyoshi-kun was the sacrifice to pacify Orishio-sama's anger. And that's what Takano-san said last year. It was her hypothesis. At present, I wanted to deny her hypothesis because I wanted to believe that Satoshi-kun was still alive. If her hypothesis was correct, either some religious fanatic or somebody from the 3 families must be imitating the curse in order to revive the ancient custom of Onikafuchi. It would mean that it was them who killed Satoshi-kun. So what if the ritual storehouse was filled with garbage instead of torture implements? Maybe it was filled with broken plannikins or freshly painted sideborns for the festival. What then? It wasn't really hard for me to believe that it was filled with the chemical smell of paint. Maybe I'll get to deny the hypothesis that Satoshi-kun was sacrificed by seeing the inside of the ritual storehouse for myself. Whatever was in there, it didn't mean that Satoshi-kun would come back. Satoshi-kun, what should I do? Since most people went to see Rika's-chama's ritual dance, the festival grounds were deadly quiet. Even so, I couldn't sense Satoshi-kun. Did he go somewhere? Or was I not paying enough attention? Or maybe he wasn't feeling any emotions in particular. After thinking for a while, I decided to go in with them. It had been almost a year since Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I had been avoiding the truth because I was afraid he might be dead. But now I had a chance. Stop talking to your new blood boyfriend in public, or you're gonna wind up in the soft padded room, she. There was no one around. It's fine. I had a chance to see the inside of the ritual storehouse. I felt as though something divine had arranged that coincidence. On my way to the storehouse, I noticed Keiichi. He was jumping up and down, trying to see Rika-chama's dedication dance over people's shoulders. If I took him along, we could split the guilt. What the actual fuck, Shion? That's not how that works. Or Ueshiya-sama might put a curse on me for entering his divine storehouse. Oh sure, let's drag somebody else down with me. Like, what the fuck, Shion? I wanted a partner in crime. Since the boy I loved disappeared last year because of the curse, maybe Mion's love should disappear this year. Oh my... Mion was so sad for you when Satoshi disappeared. She cried for you when that happened. Because she was so crushed that, like, she was like, at least you finally have someone. You finally found someone who can make you happy, and then he just disappeared, and that sucks. And she cried. And this is how you... Okay. Leon... I'm about to crash out. Dear Lord. Oh, what am I thinking? Yeah, I should be ashamed of that. It must have been the demon inside me. I shook that thought out of my head. What's going on, Shion? Where's the best place to see Rika-chan's dance from? Is it far? Huh? I never said I was going to show you that. I made it to the ritual storehouse. Keiichi was baffled by the whole situation. Our timing had been perfect. I could see Tomitake-san picking the lock. Even Keiichi must have been curious. Even though Keiichi must have been curious, he insisted that we shouldn't go in. Mion was generally sorrowful, not just for the fact that it was her friend, but because you're her sister, and she has the audacity to just be like, Keiichi disappeared too, just girly things. Like, come on. She even had her fingernails removed in the same way as Shion's, because she felt so bad for her that she had to go through that, and she's like, it's not fair that you had to do something so painful. Like, bitch. And the only reason you found out that even happened was because you were trying to choke her out. And even she wasn't even mad. She wasn't even mad that you choked her out. She was still crying for you. Fuck you, Shion, I swear to God. This girl has eclipsed Junimio and is gone crashing into terminal Delulu. Mock. But I talked him into it anyway. He was quick to change his mind when Tomitake-san joined in. It was completely dark inside, so Takano-san had lit a battery-powered lantern. A small entry space appeared before us. It's so dark in here. Take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano closed the door with a smile, as if leaving Tomitake-san out on purpose. And... alright everyone, have fun. Tomitake? with peace and love. What kind of like what kind of sloppy toppy is she giving you that you're putting up with this? What kind of sex are you having that you're putting up with this, Tomitake? What is this? I know there's slim pickings in Hinamizawa, but Jesus Christ. Have fun in the torture room, fed kids. As soon as the heavy door closed, we were surrounded by a quiet darkness. All we could do was rely on Takano's lantern. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Nakano-san teased Keiichi a little. Keiichi in turn looked a little pale. He seemed to be able to recognize the sanctity of the building even though he wasn't from Hinamizawa. Let's go in. Here we go. There. After Takano-san opened the heavy inner door, a dusty foul smell flowed out. It was like the smell of a pantry that hadn't been opened in years, and the smell of a fish market mixed together. I didn't know exactly how to describe it, but it was a bad smell. From listening to the echo of our footsteps, I could tell that this room was much bigger than the one we were just in. When Takano-san raised her lantern, I could clearly see just how big it was. Wow. At the far side of the wall, there was a statue of some kind of god staring down at us intruders. The way it was lit by the lantern gave it a powerful appearance, and it scared me. That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, Yoshio-sama. I looked up at the statue, which was holding its religious ornament. If Satoshi-kun's disappearance was really a curse, I couldn't forgive this god. I found myself irritated by the way the statue looks down at me. Damn you, Yoshio-sama. If you really made Satoshi-kun disappear, I'll never forgive you. Ever. Keiichi didn't seem to understand the significance of the storehouse. He looked bored. Now she's beefing with the random statue. She's just mad at everybody. Takano-san noticed that and took out her scrapbooks to show him the brutal history of ancient Hinamizawa. I heard that story already, so I decided to walk around by myself. Since I knew the significance of all these tools, I felt a little nauseated. Though they certainly wouldn't jump out at me, I still found them intimidating. They looked as though they were craving for fresh blood after not being used in hundreds of years. When in the history of ever has throwing hands with a god ever ended well? From the mortal except for the mortal except maybe Odysseus. She really thinks she's that girl, huh? If those tools were prodigies of torture implements, these could be their ancestors. All the implements here looked old. I doubted they could really be used. They weren't kept maintained like the ones at the Sonozaki house. So, did that mean they shouldn't scare me? No, on the contrary. They told me that cruel rituals were performed in this village at one point. Now that I found scary. What Takano told me was the truth. When I stopped, Satoshi-kun also stopped behind me. One step later. I felt no emotional change in Satoshi-kun. I couldn't tell if he was feeling something or not. I knew he was there, but I had no idea how he was feeling. I felt scared. I felt scared of him for the first time. Just now? Now you're feeling scared? If he could answer me, I'd want to ask him. Who demoned you away? Hey, Satoshi-kun. Are you listening? I couldn't tell if he heard me or not. Shion, so help me God, if you start talking to your terminal Delulu demon boyfriend in the goddamn torture shot. He laughed. As if he didn't hear anything. I could tell that he's been sulky ever since we got here. I suddenly felt lonely, so I looked for him while walking around. I realized that there was an altar in front of the statue. He might be there. It was a clean altar. An altar ornamented with religious artifacts. Satoshi going for milk a second time. It was kept well maintained. I saw no dust. That would mean, well, the flowers in the vase weren't wilting. I saw a pretty handkerchief under the vase. It looked out of place amongst everything else. I was very certain it was Rika Furude's handkerchief. That would mean that this storehouse was maintained daily. It wasn't a forgotten ruin buried in dust. So the brutality that dwelled in this storehouse, was still alive and well in Hinamizawa. That's right. Something as ambiguous as Orishio-sama's curse is nothing more than the simple delusion of the villagers. I don't think you have any right to call anyone delusional, Shion, but go off. As Takano-san said, everything that happens in this world is done by humans. Wait, the Furude girl who's the Minka of the shrine is maintaining the stuff on the Furude property? Wild. Right, it's almost as if that's her job. As a shrine maiden. Of this particular shrine. I'd accused Orishio-sama of demoning away Satoshi-kun. But Orishio-sama is just a statue made of bronze or wood. It's nothing but an icon. There are, however, human beings who would try to make that icon seem real. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is the result of human action. At least he acknowledges that she's beefing with a goddamn statue. At the very least, yeah. It shouldn't be called Orishio-sama's curse. If Satoshi-kun was the 4th year's victim, then he was victimized by a human being who was just acting the part of a curse. The person who demoned away Satoshi-kun must not be very far from me. The truth behind Satoshi-kun's disappearance was not so far from my grasp. I was startled by the sound. It sounded like somebody had dropped something. I looked over at Takano-san and Keiichi. Takano-san was still lecturing him. Did he drop her scrapbook or something? Thump, thump, thump. The sound came from right behind me, not from them. I'd never heard Satoshi-kun do that. It sounded like somebody was stomping on the floor in frustration. What is it? Thump, thump, thump. The sound continued, ignoring my question. Though I heard it nearby, it sounded as though a child was hopping on a wooden floor somewhere distant. What's wrong, Satoshi-kun? Are you angry about something? I couldn't read his expressions. I thought he was mad, but I didn't sense any emotion from him at all. Was he mad that I touched the altar? Maybe you weren't supposed to do that. Yeah, maybe you're not. Thump, thump, thump. It's not like I'd been able to communicate with Satoshi-kun in a concrete way. I just talked to him. I was never expecting him to react like that. I didn't sense a willingness to communicate from this creepy sound. Then a chill ran up my spine. I felt as all my pores were opening. Maybe you weren't supposed to sneak into the damn murder shed in the first place, Shion. Yeah, maybe you weren't supposed to do that. I've been thinking that it was Satoshi-kun stomping on the floor. Hey, you. You're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? The sound stopped when I asked that. It wasn't a yes or no, just silence. Satoshi-kun wouldn't scare me like that. I realized suddenly that the sound hadn't come from Satoshi-kun. A cold shiver shot through my feet, and I sprung a step backward. The sound had come from right there. Even though I jumped back, it was still just a few meters away. Look, she's capable of math. Satoshi-kun would sometimes let me hear his footsteps when I walked. But if that wasn't Satoshi-kun, then there was no guarantee I'd hear his footsteps. So that invisible being could already be right in front of my eyes. And I just couldn't see it. I forgot everything and ran, straining my ears as much as possible for any sound, listening for any footsteps pursuing me. I ran into Keiichi and clung to him, timidly turning back to look. The dimly lit area before the altar was quiet, like nothing was happening. But seeing that chilling darkness, realizing I was just in that space, made me even more frightened now. Well, you were ready to beef with the statue of Oroshiro-sama, but now you might be face to face with the god of your village. You're not so ballsy. When you say, okay, pull up, and they actually pull up. When you say, meet me outside, and they actually, you're like, okay, let's go outside. What's up, Shion? Did you get scared? Keiichi made fun of me. Even though he looked horrified just a little while ago, you now look satisfied to see me scared too. Meet me after school, we got unfinished business. I will never forgive you, Oroshiro-sama. I refute thee, and I will strike thee down. Oroshiro-sama really went alright, bet. He's like, okay, never mind. I didn't know you were serious. Sorry about that. I know girls tend to get freaked out by haunted houses. Well, I don't mind it. Anyway, let's go. Before Takano-san leaves us behind. I pretended to be fine, but I wasn't sure if I was able to hide my fear entirely. The footsteps were chasing me. They were outside the illumination of the lantern, as if they couldn't go into the light. The presence never left us, however. It followed us like a fourth member of the party. Sometimes it made a stopping sound as if wanting some recognition. But neither Takano-san or Keiichi seemed to notice it. It was possible for Takano-san to be ignoring it. Keiichi would never ignore it. Now all of a sudden you realize you might be fleeing forces beyond human comprehension might not be the strat here. She really poked the bear, didn't she? If he could hear it, he would have said something. So just like with Satoshi-kun, only I could hear it. What was that thing that was making me so scared? Was it Satoshi-kun in a bad mood? Or is it possible that the presence I believe to be Satoshi-kun might not have been him at all? Well, it's the consequences of my own actions. What are you upset about, Satoshi-kun? Tell me if I did something wrong, I'll apologize. If you aren't Satoshi-kun, then where did he go? When did you take his place? Shion, are you alright? Huh? I'm fine. You look pale, though. I appreciate it if you didn't stretch my clothes too much. Oh, sorry. Oh, am I interrupting you two? I decided to engage in the conversation to help myself ignore the sound from behind. I didn't hear the sound as much, and it had become a bit more distant. Yeah, I shouldn't pay attention to it. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't hear it. I should just ignore the noise. Takano-san, are you researching whether those customs survived into the present? You are right. What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished. She smiled at me like a witch. Dear Lord. My bargain. You keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer Orishiro-sama's curse, or be made into a sacrifice. If that's the curse, I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's a sacrifice, then will I be thrown into Onigafuchi Swamp while still alive? And it is tonight, you know. The night of Orishiro-sama's curse. It certainly is. If the curse strikes for a 5th time, it'll happen tonight. Nice to have contents for some stuff, though. Shion wasn't just clinging to him because she was a girly girl being afraid. It was because she kicked the hornet's nest and fucked around and found out. She absolutely, yeah. It is really cool to see everything like to come together. Takano-san pulled out an old scrapbook from her paper bag and started turning the pages. She opened up to a page of that one article. It's the article about the brutal murder of a Watanagashi victim. It happened in the Meiji era. This is a story that actually happened. It was around the end of the Meiji era. They discovered an unknown, mangled corpse, the victim of a murder, in Onigafuchi village. Gerald couldn't thumping so. That's so creepy. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Hey, you guys seriously don't hear that? It's freaking loud. How can you not hear it? Well, it's freaking noisy. Cut it out already. At the next moment, we all heard a squeaking noise. We turned around in surprise. Oh, thank God. It was just Tomitake-san opening the door. Did I startle you? Jiro-san, did you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san laughed as if making fun of Tomitake-san for being such a scaredy cat. I don't think that word goes there. Splendid. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over, and everyone's going down to the river. The festival as a whole will be over within minutes. Time was up. I never expected that Tomitake-san would save me from this nightmare. His face suddenly looked heroic. Oh? Keiichi-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. I went to the entry room and turned around. Tomitake-san was taking pictures in a mad rush, though our time was up. Only Takano could see all these blood-soaked, rusted and crusty old torture devices and be like, ah, what a splendid treasure trove. I didn't hear that sound anymore. I didn't feel that presence. I didn't feel Satoshi-kun either. But somehow I wasn't too sad about that. Even if he followed me out here, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was really him or somebody else. Alright. I said that I was going to read chapter 10 as well. My throat is a bit hurty. So we'll read the tips and then we'll end the stream for today. The underground torture room is officially called the Underground Ritual Storehouse. So do torture room and ritual storehouse mean the same thing? According to Takano-san's theory, bloody rituals, including Watsunakashi, have been passed down along the three families even after the Meiji era. Well, we have another Higurashi stream, so it's all good. It's important to take care of your health, yeah. The rituals are always ready to be performed. Their form of worship always involved around torture. So Hinamizawa's history involved a great deal of human slaughter. Takano-san's theory is correct. The underground storehouse at the Sonosaki house looked well maintained. Takano-san is right about that too. Since the Sonosaki family and the Furude family both have ritual storehouses, the Kimiyoshi family must have one too. After all, these ancient and beautiful customs are still handed down through the generations. I should remain armed with the knowledge that occult events are still secretly being performed in this cursed village. '73. The sanctity of the ritual storehouse is one of the most prominent elements in the worship of Oyoshiro-sama. Of course I knew that since I'm originally from Hinamizawa. But violating that sanctity is actually a more serious problem than I thought. Takano-san's research shows that the history of the ritual storehouse goes way back. You know, I somehow doubt that there's a secret society of mages and witches sacrificing people in Hinamizawa somewhere. Yeah. The ritual elements within have long been viewed as inviolable objects, which is why it's been strictly forbidden to enter. Takano-san's theory says that the Watsunakashi was once a public execution performed to stabilize the reign of the three families, rather than a purely religious ritual. If so, the rituals should hardly be called sacred. Under those circumstances, the implements should have been despised as symbols of hatred and fear. When instruments of fear are too visible, it only creates a reign of terror. But to keep them as hidden as possible, and they gain divinity. Many said they would become tainted if the lane men touched them. The only reason for that is to preserve their false prestige through secretly, since they would lose their sanctity if revealed before the common folk. In other words, the true identity of the ritual storehouse's sacredness was fear. That was the true emotion ruling over this village. I see we took a page from Machiavelli's book. The Prince. Probably because they're in such poor state that if somebody touched them, the old devices too hard, they crumble to dust. Maybe. Don't go in that storehouse without your tetanus shot. 179. The reason why Takeno-san and Tomitake-san were cursed is because they broke into the ritual storehouse. I don't know how the villagers found out about it. Maybe somebody was watching. Maybe there was an anti-theft alarm. Either way, our intrusion must have been reported to the highest level of the curse system. That's because, considering the distance between the village and the site where Takeno's body was found, she must have been killed right after she came out of the ritual storehouse. It was done very quickly. It's possible that a special assassination team exists for this purpose, or that the plan had been set up a long time ago. They might have been secret agents of the Sonozaki family, but the latter sounds more valid. If so, who would have been the victim if nobody broke into the ritual storehouse? Or maybe it's because you did nothing in the ritual storehouse but aggressively beef with the town's con until it started making a pooping noise. Interesting. And the plot thickens. Okay. That is all for tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I had a lot of fun, as always. I'll be live tomorrow. Thanks for coming. I will be live tomorrow, same time, at 4 p.m. I'll be live tomorrow. Same time. Well, not same time. I'll be live at 4 p.m. to play more Danganronpa. We may or may not finish it this stream, but we'll see. I'll see you guys later. I hope you guys all sleep well. Good night.